All right. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to BayernNow, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. Is this week 5 or am I getting something wrong?
No,
Bundesliga, right? The Bundesliga recap. Some exciting games happened this weekend. In my opinion, I think this title race thing is. I think it's really look. Everyone's gonna be like all the Premier League fans. George, it's a farmers league. It's a farmers league. I get it. Okay, I get it. Maybe you want some corn that comes from a farm too. But for me, I'm seeing a really nice race, man. What about you? What about some of the games?
George, I like when you do your viewer voice. It kills me. I don't have one yet. I don't know if I can quite match yours, but that always fires me up. But no, yeah, this round of weekend games were pretty good. There's a couple games I'm curious to get your take on, and then there's a couple games that I think both of us are just gonna agree to skip across because
Right. I mean, there are some boring games. I mean, no one gives a hell crap, and no one cares about Stuttgart. I mean, no disrespect to Stuttgart fans or Cologne fans, but I don't really care about that game. It's a 1-1. I mean, I don't know a single Stuttgart player. I mean, I actually do, but yeah, 1-1 for. I mean, that's a typical relegation game right there.
Yeah, and I agree. I thought Stuttgart was. I mean, I rated them a little bit higher at the beginning of the season, but a lot of teams had them in relegation zone, same as Werder Bremen. And both of those two teams are actually surprising because I believe Stuttgart's now 2-2-1, which is a way better start than I thought they were gonna. But
holy crap, they're on eight points, 8 points. I mean, that's very good. I mean, that keeps you in the league. I mean, later on, maybe 3 months from now, that's a huge lead to have so far. I mean, Schalke and Mainz are in the relegation zone. I mean that, and Code's in the relegation zone. So, I mean, maybe those are the 3 teams that go down. You never know. So, yeah. So the next game I'm thinking about was actually no, I'll do this one first. The Gladbach game. I was keeping an eye on that one while I was doing my watch along. Mainz went 2-1 up, and then Gladbach. I mean, they played Real Madrid tomorrow. They did something. They turned it around. I thought it was a really good game.
I didn't watch too much of it. I was jumping a little bit back and forth from the Leipzig game and the Gladbach game, but I did see. I believe Jonas Hoffman came on and absolutely changed the game. I think he got a penalty, he got an assist. Sissa Ginter, 2x Dortmund boys, helping Gladbach. Those are two very strong players for Gladbach, and in my opinion, they needed that win because they're slipping from that top 4 race pretty early in the season. So that's a pretty big win for them.
Right. I mean, you sold Matthias Ginter, and you still employ a kanji. So I don't understand your club's business model. I think you're declining as a club. Hey. All right. Yeah. Union Berlin, Freiburg.
Union Berlin and Freiburg. Yeah. I mean, I put in my predictions that was a 0-0 draw written all over it. I didn't watch too much of the games. I watched the highlights. It seemed like a pretty defensive type game. Some of those teams going the 4-4-2. Right. So you watch two teams going in a 4-4-2 against each other. I mean, that's got a draw written all over it, and that's pretty much what we saw.
Yeah, I don't watch Union. I'll be honest. Freiburg's one of those teams that look like they can challenge for Europe. At the same time, they look like they can get relegated. Freiburg, I think 2 years ago, Niko Kovac, one of the first few games in the Bundesliga, they played like prime Real Madrid against us. They were moving crazy, counterattacking well, and they pressed us. Oh my goodness, they played very well. And then I'm like, oh, this team could get to Europe, and then they get their typical 7th or 8th, just so close to it. And then a few seasons ago, they could have gotten relegated. So I see Freiburg definitely just getting a mid-table finish. I mean, right now, Freiburg's 13th, 6 points. That's really, really, really terrible. I mean, yeah, that's not good. And then Union Berlin, 6 points. They're both very equal. So that was a 1-1 written all over it. No one cares about these games, though. I mean, right now, the least game I care about right now would be this Leverkusen game. They're beating Augsburg 2-1. That should probably end soon. I think it's going to be a 2-1. I mean, that's a big game. Dortmund couldn't beat Augsburg. It's a huge game if you want to be a title contender.
Taking shots.
I have to. I enjoy it. So, Alario scoring. Leon Bailey's there too. I mean, they don't even have Florian Wirtz, who's better than Kai Havertz. They have him on the bench. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on Leverkusen? You think they can get 4th? Because they got 5th last season.
I put Leverkusen actually in 4th for my predictions, and everyone just chirped me because they said, how could you possibly try to justify them getting there when they lost Volland, they lost Havertz? I don't know. I like the way that the team played, and They like last year they played like the 3-4-3 or the 4-3-3, and this year they just kind of got off to a pretty flat start. I think they drew their first 3 games, but I mean if they beat Augsburg, like we'll probably know by the time the stream's over, they'll be 2-3-0. I think they'll be up to 4th place. So they're finding a little consistency. But when you lose players as big as Havertz and Volland, like those are 2 huge holes to fill. So I mean,
where did Volland go?
He went to Monaco.
Where?
Monaco in the Liga.
What a terrible downgrade. I mean, you go from playing Bayern Munich to playing, I don't know, you go from playing against Dortmund and Leipzig. Who are you playing in the French league? I mean, it's literally Uber Eats. I mean, passenger league. I'm telling you, man. I don't get it.
That was a surprising move, I thought. But I mean, he was a big player for Leverkusen, and as was obviously Havertz. So losing those 2 players and not replacing them as well as they could have, I didn't know exactly how they would do. So my 4th place prediction when I made it, Havertz and Volland were both in the team.
Yeah, I did see that. I think you did say they'd get 4th. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a pretty extravagant thing. I mean, I don't think they'll rescue it personally. I think Mönchengladbach, I mean, they had a really bad start. Mm-hmm. Now they equaled out their goal differential. They're trying to get back up, and they're starting to play well. I mean, they were this close to beating Inter Milan. I'm telling you. Yeah, so
no, they got off to a flat-footed start. I totally agree. I think Gladbach's going to be have a huge push for 4th, but they definitely needed this win because they just had a poor start this season.
Right. Okay, let's get to the more interesting games. No one gives a damn about these other games except the fans of these clubs. So I think we'll start with Dortmund because that's the smallest club out of the 3. All right. No, but seriously, I thought that was a really good result. The reason why, that's the type of game that I'd expect Dortmund to go and lose. Not that I'm saying you'll lose, but that's the type of game that against Schalke, big rival, that's a 3-3 game, right? I think you drew when Paco Alcázar scored in the last minute to make it 3-3, I believe.
I agree with what you're saying because, I mean, Schalke, over the past few seasons, Schalke hasn't had a very strong team, and we've lost a lot of points to them. We've lost points to them in the title race we had. We lost to them last season, and then at the tail end of last season, we destroyed them. And then this year, we destroyed them. It was 3-0, but if anyone who watched that game, that team didn't have a look. They didn't do anything. They had 1 shot on that was anywhere near the goal, and it missed it.
My goodness.
And it was an ugly effort from them.
They had 3 shots the entire game. I mean, you're playing against a Dortmund defense with Akanji. Actually, Akanji did score, so did Hummels.
And
so I guess, so I guess it wasn't that bad as I imagined. But 75% possession for Dortmund.
Yeah, Schalke did not touch the ball.
Yeah, that was a demon game. You possessed them, man. You out-possessed them. And then, Dortmund just won God. What about Hummels? How did Hummels manage to score a goal?
Well, something I was also interested about, talking about Hummels, is that I don't know if you can tell from looking there, but they switched formations for the first time all season. They played in the 4-2-3-1. So I was a little nervous to see how Hummels would do given his pace.
So Delaney wasn't I thought I heard you talk about it. Delaney being like some 3rd center back thing.
That's what I assumed because he played there before, but Favre said no, and he played beside Dahoud as CDMs. So he covered a lot for Guerrero, who went forward. Right. And Hummels had a great game. Hummels led the back line, and he got a header goal from a corner kick from Guerrero. Hummels played great. Akanji played great. Yeah. But
I'm looking at this bench, man. You have Reina. I mean, you have Jude Bellingham on the bench. Royce is on the bench. Whitson. I mean, and Thurgan Hazard. Is he coming back from injury, Hazard?
He is. This is his first game back. So it was. After watching the game, like I said, it was 75% to 25%, and we got those types of players come off the bench. It's not fair. Schalke's in a lot of trouble this season.
Right. I mean, even though Schalke's in a lot of trouble, I still think that's a good result. Haaland, I think he owned the game. I think he had this shot that was saved that I looked at. This guy's too much, man. He's really powerful. And Sancho ghost as usual. Reina probably did his thing. Jude, I mean, that's what you need. You need a 3-0. You don't need an 8-0. I mean, that's for the big clubs. You need a 3-0 win. If you win that game, then later on you're thinking about, those were the 3 points that we needed. So I believe that's a huge win.
I mean, it was definitely positive. We had a lot of the ball, but we didn't do too much with it in the first little bit, and people were kind of getting worried. But we just ran them down. I mean, you have 75% of the ball like that, and you got a finisher like Holland. It's gonna take one chance, and Schalke. It was a lot uglier game than I I expected. Schalke put up no fight.
Wait, just a quick question about Dortmund, because I hear all this talk. Every team you play that plays a low block, apparently you struggle against them. Then I'm looking at your team and I'm like, well, look at all these creators you have. You have Reina, you have Royce, who's never fit. You have Brandt. You have everyone. You have so many creators. I mean, Hummels can open up a defense. So is that a tactical thing that you can't break these teams down? Because what Bayern did against Atletico, and so did Liverpool, just switch it quickly, right? You saw that little movement Kimmich did, tackled the ball, passing behind, commands in, goal. Does Dortmund not have that pass?
And it depends, because you think with all the attacking talent you were talking about, we can be able to do it. But what I noticed through the Schalke game, because I said it took a lot of time before we actually got the goal, we just kept circling the ball around. We had so much possession instead of going kind of like I was mentioning Bayern a little bit, how deadly they are and how straightforward they are. But Dortmund was just playing with the ball all around. They were leading it back. They weren't doing those penetrating runs.
You notice that with Dortmund. You send the ball to your right back. He cuts it back to Hummels. Then it's almost like a U, right?
It is. That's exactly what it was. In that game, it just kept going around, and the chances that they could have, like a couple of chances, Sancho could have took a shot on net, at least attempt the goalie, made the wrong pass. It was looking a little like we dominated in possession, but it didn't look like the goal might come. And then all of a sudden, it took one pass eventually, and we got a goal. But
right, that's pretty important. I mean, scoring the first goal. But one thing I do see is that you need a different coach, that's for sure, because you can play between the lines quicker, right? Because when these teams park the bus, Augsburg did a similar thing, stay deep and counterattack. That was so easy for them. If you can have players in between the lines when you're attacking, and then line breakers like Hummels, it's crazy, because what Bayern do, not trying to say play like Bayern, but what the best teams usually do, it's positional play. Pep Guardiola does it too. You have about 4 players in between the lines, because that's the hardest thing for the opposition to deal with. If you have Royce in between the lines, you're guaranteed to win a game with a deep block. Because if you can get him the ball in that dangerous area right in front of the defense, I don't see why he can't create for a tall, fast striker like Haaland, who's also a lethal finisher. I don't see why Reina can't get in those pockets, but you don't do it quickly enough. So I think that's a coaching issue. That's something I noticed with Dortmund. You pass the ball and recycle too much. You don't move it forward quickly.
And we also got, like, this season's been a little awkward because we've gotten stuck. Last year, I mean, I don't even know who can disagree, but we had Hakimi, we had Guerrero, 2 of the most intense wing backs you'll ever have. And we haven't been able to adapt to our new players. So we had a lot of players playing out of position. So this is our first look at the 4-2-3-1. We had Brandt in his favorable position, Dahoud, Delaney. We had a 2-back, which was a little interesting to see how Hummels would do, as well as Guerrero having to adapt a little bit. But it looked very good, albeit against a very weak opponent.
That's perfect. What you just said is perfect. You miss Hakimi. I Minecraft Hakimi, creating assists. Look, I'm telling you, what Hakimi did was when these low block teams, not just low blocks, just in every game, whenever they just his pace, he'd run, make these runs. The low block teams, they don't want someone running as fast as the Flash. I mean, he just runs into space. Sancho, combine 1-2, and then you score a goal. And then it's a tap in. You did that a lot. But with Meunier, I feel like he slows your game down because he's so big, no agility, no pace. He takes so much time, and not just him. It's just he just slows the game down.
I agree. I've been very critical about Hakimi playing in that wing back role because he's not Hakimi.
Right,
Meunier is playing nothing like Hakimi. It just shows how much we missed that player. But he had a half decent game in the right back position. But yeah, we did a lot about Dortmund there. So let's move on.
Enough talk about these small. So I think there's a lot after all the. Oh, what happened there? I'm telling you. Oh my goodness, he's on Dortmund Wi-Fi.
Is it
rarely
me?
Works. Doesn't perform in big games. Dortmund Wi-Fi. I think it is you. I think you should be fine now. You should be fine now.
Okay.
You can't hear. I'm guessing you can't hear.
No,
oh, you can hear. Okay. I was just about to make fun of the fact that you support Dortmund and your Wi-Fi doesn't work and your stadium doesn't. Okay, we'll get past that. I think Leipzig did something crazy, and people don't look at it as I do, because I'm looking at what Leipzig did. That's a game that's hard, right? Leipzig beat Hertha 2-1. They created a billion chances. Hertha are very tough to break down, despite the fact that they concede so much. It's very hard to score more than one goal against them. So Leipzig went over. They played a 4-2-3-1 system or a back three. I'm not sure. They're too versatile for me to figure it out. And Angelino, again, bro, I'm telling you, he's slowly becoming one of the best left wing backs or just full backs in the league. I'm telling you, he's fast. Leipzig just got him from City. Don't know how. But that's a game that if you're contending for a title, if you win that game, that's a huge 3 points because those are usually the games you draw. And then at the end of the season, you're 2 points behind the title. And then you're wondering, well, what if we just beat Hertha 2-1 and then we pick 3 points instead of just 1? So I thought that was a big game.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like you made a funny joke about the formation, but I totally get it. It looked, from what I saw, they played in like a 4-4-2. But I mean, they have Hendricks playing as a center mid. They have Forsberg playing as a false nines striker. Right. They got so many systems and so many formations. You never know what they're going to throw at you.
Right.
And
I think that was the hardest thing last season for us. Julian Nagelsmann, he's a Bayern fan, so he's going to coach Bayern one day. I can't wait for it. I mean, look, I can see him coaching Dortmund and then coming to Bayern in typical fashion. So, look, Konate is on the bench. They have this young player, Mardo. They took this guy, Samacic, from Hertha Berlin, ironically. This Samacic guy, he got better numbers than Kai Havertz in the youth. He's only 18 years old. Bayern Munich wanted him to. So did Dortmund. He picked Leipzig. They have him on the bench. They have Danny Olmo on the bench, too. They have Yusuf Poulsen on the bench. They have their new striker they just bought on the bench from Salzburg. I'm telling you, they're stacked. And this isn't even the beginning. They have more players. Konate is literally better than Upamecano. They had Sabitzer on the bench.
Yeah.
Sabitzer is probably one of their best players. And they still managed to beat a team like Hertha. I just think, I think they can win the title before Dortmund. I know that's a bold claim, but I feel like they're closer, right? They're closer to being more complete. They have a better defense. If Dortmund just got a better center back, if you sign someone like, I don't know, just any center back other than Akanji, if you signed a better center back, but Leipzig have too many center backs. They have too many full backs. They have too many midfielders. They have too many attackers. I think they're closer to that title, not this season, because I think Bayern's the best team in the world. I'm just saying that.
No, I mean, I put like Leipzig at the beginning for my predictions as third place too, and everyone again was saying like your predictions are all over the place because like they just lost Werner. That's 28 goals out of their season. How are they going to possibly replicate that? But look at you just said. They just went on for 5 minutes.
They don't miss Werner. I mean, even Julian Nagelsmann said, this is not the game for Timo Werner. I'm telling you, yeah, it's that German accent. I love it, man. But they got Sorloth, who's already getting assists now.
He had a good season last year. Sorloth put up a ton of goals in the Turkish league, and yes, it's a different kind of league, but I mean, he looks like a proven goal scorer. So I'm waiting for him to catch his stride. But I mean, they're scoring goals without their actual strikers even scoring. That's dangerous. Yeah. If one of these two strikers.
Then again, you have Haaland, who's probably going to produce more goals. If Haaland can score 30 goals this season, and Sancho can get at least 15 Bundesliga goals and 15 assists in the Bundesliga. So 30 goal contributions for Sancho, 30 goals alone for Haaland. And then, your Togen Hazards, they have they just 5 goals or 7 assists, I don't know, whatever he does. And then Royce can do his thing of not showing up. And then Julian Brandt, who's better than Royce, can do his thing, getting all these assists. I think Dortmund could win the league if everyone performs. Because if Haaland's scoring 30 goals, that's essentially he's winning games. So, I think that's the difference right now. The difference isn't about quality. It could be when it comes to defense between Dortmund and Leipzig. Bayern, we have a good. We'll concede a lot of goals, but that's a given. I think we'll just score more. The real quality thing, the real thing that matters is consistency of individual players. So you need everyone to perform. Like that 2018-19 season where I thought you won the league. I genuinely did. I made a video on the old BayernNow channel. I was like, Dortmund, congratulations, you won the league. Niko Kovac's trash. I did say it. And you didn't because of the fact that you had the consistency from the beginning, and then slowly, when it really mattered, there was no consistency. Sancho wouldn't show up in those games, nor would Paco Alcácer.
Yeah, no, there was in that season there was 2 games that stuck out to me, and one was the Hoffenheim game where we were up 3-0 and blew that lead, and then losing to Schalke 4-2 there. And it comes with experience, and I mean the way that again you and I have gone over this of how the 2 teams build their teams. We had a lot of young players. We weren't expecting a title race, and it's again this year, and we're going to see if, like you said, if Sancho can show the consistency and get these kind of numbers, as can Haaland. But the thing that scares me about Leipzig is their manager, because I just think he's an absolute magician with what he throws out on there.
About every 2 minutes. Man.
It's ridiculous and it's scary. It absolutely is scary. All right, what other game we got?
Bayern. That's the last game. We beat
Wolfsburg.
Beat Frankfurt 5. Most of that game's frozen again.
Yeah.
Okay. It's your internet. It's definitely your internet. It's fine because it's not too much of an issue. It's just so Lewandowski scored 3 goals. Sané came off the bench. Sané. He has everything Robin had. The hair. He has it all. And in my opinion, the best thing about that game was Musiala's goal at the end to make it 5-0. I think that was probably my most, because it's not just because I can brag about having the best youngster in the Bundesliga. It's just like the fact that goal went in made me go crazy. I love when a young player scores, not to make just when it just 5-0. Like he scored against Schalke to make it 8-0. That's what you want.
I didn't see his goal. Was it a nice one?
It wasn't like, he scored from outside but it was actually a very nice finish. The ball fell to him and he scored between 3 people, just placed it. I think he's playing with a lot of maturity. That's all that matters. And Frankfurt, I hate them. I hope they get relegated. I think people think I'm joking, by the way, but I actually don't like Frankfurt. There's nothing enjoyable about them as a club. I think they're disgusting the way they play. They tried to kill my guy, Thiago Alcantara. They did a lot to me. I hate him. So the worst thing, Alphonso Davies is out for. And
I didn't see that either. I was going to ask you. I didn't see exactly what happened either.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, man, it's great. I'll just explain it. This man,
like a visual.
Running. No, so he's running. No one tackles him. 1 minute and 30 seconds into the game. I don't know what voodoo or juju Frankfurt were doing, but it was really annoying. His foot, you know how you run on the ground. This is what happened. Like his leg was running, normal. And then I guess when he was running, he did this. But then, his leg, went from this to this. So his ankle, he broke something.
Oh.
So that's the most. So 4 to 6 weeks, that's it. At least it's not 3 months or 5 months or, like Royce sometimes. So, yeah, at least we don't have that.
Yeah, no, well, I hope.
Shots fired.
I'll
stop.
It's always shots fired with George.
Yeah,
but no, I do genuinely hope, obviously, that Davies is okay and he gets back, because that sucks to lose him.
It's annoying.
And I'm assuming Hernandez is going to be your starting left back from now on. Alba on the left center back.
Well, see, that was the thing. I'm so annoyed about that because I wanted to see Lucas Hernandez at left center back so I can say he's the best center back in the world. And not only that, because that's his best position. He played it for Atletico. He pocketed Messi from that position. And look what he did to Ronaldo. He made Cristiano Ronaldo get COVID-19 to hide from him. He was emphatic in that game.
Would it be crazy to toss Alba back on left back and then put Lucas in the middle?
I think Flick loves Alba. He loves him at left center back because he's such a Flick player. The ball movement in between the lines, Flick loves that. So Alba will stay at center back. He's not playing well, but Flick loves him. He loves him. So I think Alba is just going to stay. And he always takes off Lucas. He never takes off Alba, by the way. He never, subs him off. I don't know if it's a confidence thing or just the fact that when he looks at him, he's seeing Franz Beckenbauer. He's seeing Matt Hummels. I don't know what he's seeing.
Hunting for that new contract.
He's definitely seeing something. Maybe Alaba told him he'll get half of the money. Yeah. So yeah. So that's it. The game was Frankfurt tried. We won. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Those are all the fixtures for this week.
The Wolfsburg game too. It was 2-1 Wolfsburg. They got their first win. That's all.
Right. Champions League. You thought I was going to forget about the Champions League? Dortmund went and they took the L out of Lazio and took the Asio. I'm telling you, man. Whew. Oh, you went. I told you this about those Italian teams. They look terrible until they turn and do their Calcio systems against you. Yeah, they did it. I mean, Inzaghi's a better manager than Favre.
It's just these shots. They just keep coming.
No. He is. He is.
I mean, Inzaghi's a great man. There's no denying that. But, I mean, and Favre got that game wrong 100% from pretty much start to finish. They came in and ran us over. And we had a good, decent bit of play in the second half. But at that point, the game was over. We didn't make those changes enough. And like you said, it was a well-deserved win for Lazio. Now we've got to bounce back against Zenit.
You know, the most annoying thing is that I wanted Dortmund to beat the Italian, because Bayern were playing Atletico. You know, La Bestia Negra, it's back. You know, that's the thing with Bayern and Spanish teams. They think we're the black beast, we're evil. So we're back. We're back to bullying Spanish teams. Those are where we came from. We bullied Atletico in the 70s in Champions League finals, and we're doing it in 2020. So that's something I liked a lot. And then Mönchengladbach won their game versus Inter, or they didn't win. They were this close to winning, but that's a huge result for them. That's amazing. And then I'm looking at it. Leipzig just breezed past whoever they played. And then Dortmund, the only team to lose. Why do you have to break these unnecessary records? You're not Lewandowski.
It was an annoying result. I don't even know. I can't defend it by any means, because it was totally wrong, ugly game to watch.
You are a better team than Lazio, so based on that, you should win. So I can understand it. But thank you to everyone that watched. I'm sure you should all go subscribe to JJD TV, the Ultimate Dortmund channel. So
the Ultimate Dortmund channel.
I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun watching you in your videos. But thank you everyone so much for watching. Mia san mia, and peace.